December 2016 married. January 2018 wife started a new job. June 2018 found out that my wife had been cheating on me with a guy she met at her new job. Started cheating with him after 3.5 weeks on the job. I found out by invading her phone without permission while she was in a conference for about 1.5 HRS and read their message threads. The ride home that day was very awkward as we drove 3 HRS. Halfway into the drive, I asked who the guy is. She told me, and she was more incensed that I broke into her phone than that she had been cheating on me. Fast forward to that night. We had to talk about it, all into the next day, where we decided to try and work things out. I lost most trust then. Figured I'd try and build it back up. One of my conditions for us trying was, and I quote, "I want you to call 40 and break it off with him in front of me." She never did it, and the following day when I asked when she was going to do it, she said she already had. Being butthurt, I decided to call the dude myself. 10 minutes later I get a call from her, angry, asking why I called him. I said, "'Cause you wouldn't." Also, she mostly blames me for her cheating, says I put work above her, don't make time for her, and other things of the sort. I accept that, to some degree. I was consumed with work, a PhD program, and life as a whole. Trust is still low at this point. A few days later, she and a friend go to a baseball game while I was out working. She called me during the game. When I asked where she was, she said she's at a game and invited me to come. I declined. When she got back, I spent a few hours listening to the recording and found out the game she was at was old dude's baseball team, and the only reason she asked was so that I would say no. When confronted, she is up in arms that I would record her and says she needs a break. An argument ensues where we both argue that we are right and the other is in the wrong. That argument lasts a few days. At the end, we decide to try marriage counseling. 5 sessions in, we both feel like it's useless and decide to end the sessions. A few weeks go by and I decide to have a frank discussion with her. That same time, she quits the job and I tell her, let's let bygones be bygones, but cheat on me again, emotional, physical, or otherwise, and I'm out like a bad light bulb. We both agree to work on it. April 2019. During all of this time, intimacy continues, strained initially, but we both try and the spark starts to grow organically. Things eventually get to a level where we are both comfortable and growing together, even talking about kids. About 10 months into this, she starts doing something that she used to before, taking 1-2 night hotel trips. She said it's because our neighborhood is dangerous, and she doesn't feel safe hearing the gunshots in the night. I don't really make much of it. If that's what she needs to feel safe, then it's whatever. Months turn into about a year. Circa early 2019. She says that she's not really into sex anymore unless she can get pregnant. This is news to me, as while we have been taking about having a family, sex was never an issue. Over the next few months, sex and intimacy become almost non-existent, whether it's a kiss, a hug, watching a movie together, dinner, or making love. Between March 2019 and June 2020, we have sex maybe 4 times. It bugs me, especially as it seems like more of a chore to her than when we dated or prior to the cheating. I confront her about it, and she says that yes, she treats it as a chore cause she can't get pregnant and doesn't want me humping on her until I bust a nut. I'm surprised. Did I just not pay attention to what she has been signaling? Am I missing something? Did I really ignore her needs to that extent? I decide initially, play along, but that turned to actual understanding about a year later. Reading up on how women react to certain things, the hormonal changes, and how depression can be brought on, I decide, you know what, if it helps her even a little bit, I can ignore my want of sex and intimacy for her benefit. During this time, I'm absolutely miserable, but I mask it well. Tell her that whatever it takes, I'm with her. And I actually mean it. I bury myself in work and finishing my PhD, cause while I'm trying to be understanding of her mindset, I don't want to dwell on it too much, because it reminds me of when she cheated back in 18. Of note, she always mentions how she misses being single and wishes that she had experimented more before being married. September 2021. Time passes. COVID-19 comes and stays. And in early September 2021, she quits her job. I support her, cause it was a stressful position that wasn't doing her mental health any favors. She wants to pursue her dream life, go to school for yoga, complete her own PhD and move out of state. I'm the only one working, but I support her anyway. Anything for your happiness, right? Time passes and it's early October 2021. I'm uncomfortable sleeping here at night, she says. Do you mind if I spend the night with a friend of mine? We used to work together, You met her a few times. Really? I go mentally, but out loud I say sure. Whatever it takes for you to have peace of mind. This is probably a phase, I think. She starts sleeping over at a friend's house in a decidedly safer neighborhood. I'm skeptical initially, but she comes back every morning and seems better for it. So I decide I can deal with that if it helps her in the short term. Short term turns to long term. Every night for the next 8 months, she sleeps at her friend's house and comes back every morning. I'm still the only one working, so I give her a card with a 4K limit for use each month starting in January. Every month, she goes over that limit, despite me telling her to keep to it. It's more than you used to make at any of your other jobs, so I figure it should be more than enough. Every month since I've given her the card, she maxes it and needs upwards of 1K extra a month for necessities. My jobs are what enable me to support this type of lifestyle for her and me, because in my mind, this is my wife. I will do whatever it takes to ensure she's taken care of. Cue the complaints. Why are you working so much? Or do you have to work today? Yes, I do. Because you spend like there's no tomorrow. Of course I don't say this out loud, but I explain that if I don't, you can't go to yoga school and I can't pay for your school fees for your PhD. Worth noting is that from December 2021, since she started sleeping out, I've kinda become a drunkard. Every night, to fall asleep, I need at least 5 shots. This of course affects performance in my own job and PhD program, but I power through by sheer willpower. She knows none of this. As far as she is concerned, my work on my PhD is the reason for the stress, beady eyes, swollen face, etc. Early June 2022. Time goes on. No intimacy apart from the nightly I love you, good night while in different locations and the occasional peck on the lips or a hug. I start resenting her. My PhD defense is approaching, and I decide to on a whim check my phone account to pay my bill while taking a break from preparing my dissertation. One option that I see is that there's a record of all text messages and phone calls made, not the content, just the metadata. Color me surprised, especially since I've binged watched the first 13 seasons of NCIS in the past 3 months. So I check out my account history and see that it's actually accurate. So what do? I check my wife's, of course. The first phone number in the list looks familiar, but I'm unsure. I do a reverse phone lookup and behold, it's the same motherfucker that she cheated on me with back in 2018. Damn, that's fucked up, is my thought. And I was planning on going through IVF with her in 2 months. I ignore it temporarily cause my defense is in a few days, and I need to kill it. But it's still top of mind, so I decide, fuck it, let me see how long this has been going on. Turns out, she never cut contact since I switched said carriers a year ago. They've been in contact constantly. Now, 1 + 1 seems to be 11, not 2. Things aren't adding up, but I got bigger fish to fry. I need to finish my defense. That night, I get absolutely wasted. Didn't regain consciousness until 4 p.m. the next afternoon. Can't focus. Feel like I've wasted my time and energy and should have got out a long time ago. But I decide I need to look out for no one. So I put all of it behind me and pass my defense. Late June 2022 now. I work many jobs to keep up. Whenever she calls me while I'm working, I either let it go to VM or answer like I'm busy. I decided that since she didn't want to make me a priority, I'd relegate her to last place. I still feel a bit guilty, but I know that I need to put myself first, cause this is toxic. No matter her reasons, she's still fucking with that guy from over 3 years ago. That's unforgivable. If that's what she wants, then she can have it. I still feel guilty, so I decide since she's always wanted to move out of state before the end of the year, and might grant her that wish. I figure 10K to 15K should be a good bit for anyone trying to move, so that's my intent. Give her 10-15K to get the fuck out of my life permanently since she's so gung-ho about moving. It's better than the alternative, cause despite all that she's done, I love her. But I do want the best for her. Early July 2022 I've decided that it's time to put number 1 first for the first time in my marriage. I've gained over 60 pounds since November 2021 from stress and other stuff, and I'm gonna work on it. I have a tenure track position on offer. I've decided that since she doesn't want me, why should I care about her other than as a human being that I know? Friends, maybe. Acquaintances, possibly. I'm still youngish, but the last few years has turned me off relationships. Fuck that. Focus on number 1 will be my priority. She wants another guy. Have at it, but not at my expense. I don't owe her anything, but at the least, I want the best for her. Despite all she's put me through. Shit, I've not had sex since mid-2020. Do you know what that does to my self-confidence? Fuck it. She built this house. She can live in it. Am I a bitter? Fuck yes. But I think at this point, I've earned that and a whole lot more. It's time to look out for number 1. Fuck the consequences.